Good morning everyone, we've got something a bit different on today. So we're on the test bench and we've got a BCM set up. Now this BCM is a failed BCM from the vehicle. What we're looking at here is we basically want to see what we can pull out of this BCM and clone it over. So there's nothing that can go wrong here. This has already been replaced and rectified with a new BCM. Now this is out of a PX Ranger. Common for a lot of issues. I've repaired multiple issues on them before. Some of the failed circuit mounted relays and things like that for indicators and blinkers getting stuck on. But what we've got is we've got this BCM hooked up on the bench, so we're pinned in. We've got our ground connection here, our two communication wires and our main power feed to these two big pins. I've got a pin out diagram for it, so if we pull this up and go over to here, as you can see, this is our BCM and this is our pin out diagram. So we've followed that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get 4Scan set up with the Cardac interface. I'm having problems for some reason. I think I'm going to have to re-download the software, but once I get that set up, we'll be back and we're going to try and pull the as-built data out of this. All right, we are back on the Ranger BCM that we've got hooked up here. So we're powered up through our breakout box. I've ended up at the top ton. Reason being, I'm having 4Scan issues. So anyway, I'm gonna have to sort that another time. Now we're able to read codes from this module. So if we go out here and we go read fault codes, you will see that we will get every fault code that it's possible to set, because nothing's actually connected, but that shows us that this thing is powered up and it is actually communicating. You can see that the CAN high and CAN low lights are flashing over there. And all we've done to hook this up is we've gone through a manual selection, so we've just gone through into a PX Ranger. There we go, so crash input faults, fuel level sensor faults, headlight, wiper, horn, wiper, blower fan, etc. So there's faults for pretty much everything in there. That means that we're communicating, so if we go into actuation test, we're able to command relays on this module. Now this is really handy, and I've done this before just to find out what relay controls what. So if we command relay, I don't know if anyone's able to hear that or not, but we can hear one of those SMDs clicking on down there. That's basically it. So we can control all our active functions, you know, whatever, literally whatever relay you want. And then we can do low beam as well. So you can bump that up by a percentage, bump it down. And then the other thing we'll be able to do is we will be able to go into our module info. So as you can see, we've got all our module info here, our assembly number, calibration number, software number, special functions. So we've got our low beam FET counter reset. So that is when you have circuit faults on these BCMs, they basically have a counter where they will end up cutting off the actual function of the module. So we can do our counter reset here, ignition's on, and as you'll see, that'll go through. There we go, operation successful. So it's been reset to 0, ignition off, so we just go off, okay, back on. Rest of our faults, so we could try and do a programmable module installation, but that won't do anything because it's not hooked up to the rest of the vehicle. We do have our PATS function though, so this is to program keys, etc. This is separate function, that's to add an additional key, parameter reset, and then erase and program, and then our module installation here. So this is really handy with these sort of things, because what we do as far as testing these modules, if we can get a good wiring diagram, we can actually trace back on the board the inputs and the outputs to try and repair them. The other thing that it's handy for is when I actually get 4Scan fixed, we'll be able to pull all the as-built data out of it, etc. So next thing I'm going to try and do is we're going to try and hook some of our MCU and our EEPROM reading tools up, see if I can get a different pin out, see if we can get a flash read out of this module. There is a processor under this board here, so there's a lot of joints. We've got to desolder all of these, and these to get that board off. We're going to have a bit more of a play around with it. But yeah, that's how we hook up 2 modules on the bench. It's all through our breakout box, and then we need, you know, good schematic diagrams to pin out.